Hello and welcome back to the Mama Means Business Show. I'm your host, Siobhan Bent, and we are back for another awesome and amazing episode with my guest, Mrs. Colleen Blake-Miller.
Hey,
Hello, how are
Siobhan.
you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me, Siobhan. I'm so excited to be here. Congratulations again on the launch
Thank
of your new
you.
podcast. Really excited for you and for your
Hey,
listeners. So I know it's going to be really good stuff.
yes, because you are amazing. Thank you for accepting the invitation. We go way back. We go way back.
Yes, ma'am.
And when I'm creating my list of who I want to invite, you are definitely on the top. Definitely on the
Oh,
top.
that's
You
sweet.
do so
That's
great and mighty, amazing things throughout the city. And so I just had to have you here. I want my listeners to get to know you. So let's
Thank
jump
you.
right in and start.
Yeah.
Who is Mrs. Colleen Blake-Miller? Let the people know. Who is she?
Oh, wow. That's such a, that's such a,
Loaded question.
oh, I don't even know what kind of question that is. It's a loaded. Yeah, it's so loaded. Oh, like, who am I today? Who am I this evening? So professionally, I am a registered psychotherapist. I'm very passionate about just walking along individuals, couples, families who are navigating challenging seasons of their life that want
Mm-hmm.
to see, something better for themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
professionally, that's what I get to do on a day-to-day basis. I also have opportunities to speak at different events and do the same thing, but just like in a
Right.
larger, scale.
Right.
I am a content creator. I love creating content that
Mm-hmm.
inspires, educates, and
Mm-hmm.
entertains.
Yes, and that you
Every now and
do
again, it's like, every now and again, it's like, okay, I hope this gives somebody a laugh,
for
But
sure.
again, all about mental health and wellness and all that good stuff. Personally, I am a mother of four very loud. Well, first, let me say, beautiful children. They're beautiful children. Don't let my husband
Start with the
come for me if
positives.
I'm like speaking poorly about his children. Four beautiful children who
Yes,
happen
sir.
to also be very loud and boisterous and full of a lot of energy. I
Mm-hmm.
just became a fur mommy. We just
Oh
got a
boy.
little puppy 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I can't even remember. I've lost track now. So our house is even louder now.
Oh dear. Whoa. How is that
Yeah,
transition? Pause for a
yeah.
quick second. Because Mateo has been asking for a pet.
Listen,
I'm like, we ain't doing that. We are not doing
yo, it
that.
is a serious thing. It's a serious thing. I had someone that said to me, someone who was a dog lover and who's had dogs all her life. I think she has like a couple of dogs even now.
Mm-hmm.
She told me when I said I got a puppy, she's like, "You got a puppy? Like, who gets a puppy? Like the idea of getting, I guess, a puppy, it's so much work because they
Oh,
have
because you have to
to
be
be
trained
trained,
and
right? They got to
yeah.
be trained to do all the things. Even walking is like a fight. It's kind of like,
Really?
we're going this way, buddy, come on. But yeah, that's life for me. So we recently transitioned. We moved from Canada to the
Mm-hmm.
US last summer. And so I work from home. My practice is virtual. And
Okay.
so I'm home a lot of the day by myself. It's like, hey, I need somebody to keep me company. I
Mm.
need someone here. So that was kind of my non-negotiable. If we're moving to the US, we're getting a dog. So
So it
that
was
was the
your
one
idea.
thing.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh
I'm
yeah.
so
It
surprised. It
was
was
my
your idea. Okay. Okay.
it was my idea. So that's why I can't complain too loudly, you see,
You
Siobhan,
cannot.
because when it comes time to do the dirty work, it's like, you know what? I asked for this. I asked for this. I asked for this. So, but you know what? It's been a beautiful addition to the family.
Mm-hmm.
The kid, it's an opportunity for them to show their responsibility and for them
Yes.
to be responsible for something other than themselves, right?
Right.
And
Yes.
yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity just for even the family. We have so much fun with him. So yeah,
Oh, that's
that's
cool.
life for us right now.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm happy for you. And if Mateo's listening to this, we still ain't getting no dog, okay? All right. No dog, no cat, no fish, no bird. No, we didn't.
Oh no, not even a
We'll go.
fish.
We'll
Oh
go. We'll go to the zoo.
gosh.
We will go to the zoo. Okay.
There you go. There you go.
All
Oh
right.
gosh.
So you said you're a business owner, and of course, we are on the Mama Means Business
Yes.
podcast, where we highlight
Yes.
moms who are managing to do it all. Motherhood on its own is a job, a
Yeah.
full-time
Yes.
job. But then when you
It
coupled
is.
it with a business, which essentially
Yeah.
becomes like another baby, another child that needs to be
Absolutely.
nurtured and fed
Absolutely.
and fostered daily. Can you share with us about your journey, your entrepreneurial journey? Did it start before motherhood or did it start afterwards? And what led you to start your own business?
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's a good question. So yeah, my entrepreneurial journey, I love that. It's definitely a journey because I continue to grow and there's so much, oh my gosh, that I still need to learn and I want
Mm-hmm.
to learn and I have in my mind and my heart for my business and for me in business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I so I always knew my situation was not everybody knows what they want to do. I always
Mm-hmm.
knew that I wanted to be in the field of psychotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
So and then once I began my master's studies and we started talking about, okay, when we graduate, what are we going to do? Like, what's work going to look like for us? I knew that I always wanted a private practice, but
Mm-hmm.
I thought that my private practice would be something that I would start maybe 5 years in to,
Okay.
being in that profession and those kinds of things. But when I graduated, so I graduated back in 2006, I found it to be very hard to find permanent positions in the field. There was
Mm.
a lot of contract work, a lot of part-time work, but not a lot of full-time permanent work. And
Okay.
so I was working not even completely in my field. I was working at a women's shelter,
Mm-hmm.
um, not really loving it, but thankful for an opportunity where again I'm able to understand and um, a new kind of work.
Right.
And while I was there, I did overnight shifts sometimes.
Okay.
And while I was there, instead of just mumbling and grumbling and complaining about not getting a job in my field, I really felt the Lord leading me
Mm.
to begin to build the infrastructure of my what I thought would be my future practice. And
Okay.
so I started, working on the copy for the website. This was back in the day when you actually made pamphlets and would hand out pamphlets that talked about your business. So I made
Do
a
you mean like on
pamphlet
paper, like actual paper?
on paper. Siobhan. Dropped it off to the community, resources and spaces that I was familiar with and that I knew about and would accept them, and started handing out my business cards and set up meetings with community leaders and stuff. And so it was really like that's kind of how I started. I got a supervisor. I got some insurance to cover myself, and slowly but
Mm-hmm.
surely I began to get referrals. I began to get clients that came to me very, very, like it was like a scattering, just like a
Mm-hmm.
sprinkling of clients. And
Right.
and eventually, of course, I got work in my field. And so for I don't know, maybe like 7, 8 years, I was working um full time in the field doing counseling with like community mental health agencies, and then I would do my practice part-time. It was like my side hustle.
Ah, okay.
So as things began to pick up and my family started growing
Mm-hmm.
and life became really hectic, I realized, man, this is just I'm doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
But the way it feels inside, it was like I was constantly like in a rush. Like there's
Mm.
always somewhere that I need to go. I'd be in a
Right.
session with a client from like my 9 to 5 job, being like, I got a private client at like this time. So I gotta like wrap this up so I can head over to, you know what I mean? Like to my home office. Or at the time I rented an office at my church. It was just wild. It's just wild stuff.
Mm.
So I came to the decision. I realized that the biggest obstacle for me in that season that I was in was my 9 to 5 job. I want to say this, I loved my work. I loved the
Mm-hmm.
agency that I was working for. I had a
Mm-hmm.
great boss. It was an amazing team. I felt very fulfilled in that
Yes.
9 to 5. job that I had, but it was limiting me and the
Yes.
potential of what I
Yeah.
had inside me and the potential of my business. And
Mm,
so I made the very difficult decision of handing in my resignation letter. And I have never looked back since. It's been about five
come on.
years. And of
Yeah.
course, it was kind of like I should have done this before. You know what? My boss used to tell me, Colleen, you need to be doing your practice full time. My boss used to tell me that. She
Wow.
was a lovely supervisor. It was very, inspiring. She because she knew that clinically speaking, she knew like that's my that's where
Yes.
you just flourish.
Okay.
So I'm, that's my story of how I ended up where I am right now in my business.
That's amazing. I love that, you took action on what you thought was just, a future goal, all right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we're at a time where, financial resources are a bit strained. And
yes,
I
yes,
think that more women, more moms need to embrace the idea of multiple streams of income. And so you started
yeah,
with a side hustle, right? That for
yeah,
some could be, a long-term thing, but
yeah,
also it could be something that can evolve in what is your full-time hustle now. So that's amazing.
yeah.
And with entrepreneurship, I'm an entrepreneur advocate. I know that not everybody's cut out for it, but I do believe that, everyone has something in them that they can leverage and monetize. So
Mhm.
I love that. I love that story. Um,
Yeah.
in your practice, so you see psychotherapy, how do you find your clients? Or do clients, because here in Canada, we're known for our healthcare system and
Yeah.
for
Mhm.
different types of health services, there needs to be a referral. Like you can't just show up at the door and say, I need help. Is that how you find your
Yeah.
clients? Do they have to come to you through a medical referral, or do people take the initiative and source you for their help on their own?
Mhm. Yeah. So when it comes to the kind of work that I do, it's not covered under OHIP.
Okay.
It would be through like if someone has extended benefits to their work,
Okay.
they may, if they are privileged to have that, then they
Mm-hmm.
can get coverage and maybe get reimbursed for all or some of the fee.
Okay.
So it's a combination. And so people can self-refer. They don't have to get a referral to come to me. For some
Okay.
people, I think when for people have different you know, specifics when it comes to being reimbursed. Generally speaking, you can just come and if you have coverage, you can then submit the receipt to be reimbursed. But there are some times where people have had to get a referral from their physician
Okay.
so that they qualify for the reimbursement. But that's
Mm,
only happened in a couple of unique cases.
okay.
Generally speaking, like in order to book an appointment with me, clients can just know in their heart, I need to talk to somebody. I feel like this is someone that I can connect with and that would be a good fit. And they can literally book themselves into my
Mm,
calendar for a
okay.
consult and or for a session. But I do like in terms of where my clients come from, they come through word of mouth.
Okay.
They come from referrals. So my physician has told me that I need to do some counseling, and
Mm-hmm.
they gave me your name, or excuse me, I went and looked you up online.
Okay.
I advertise on some online directories that
Okay.
are focused, on psychotherapy or counseling, that kind of thing, and people can find me and read my profile and all that kind of stuff. And then of course through social media. So
Yes.
social media is an avenue that I have been leaning into for several years now because pretty much everybody's on social media, and
Right.
it is fun to be sharing content, but as a business owner, it's like I need to use this platform to generate some income. So I've
For
been
sure.
growing in my understanding of how to do that. I
How to
think
use
that
it.
there's still a lot more that I
Mm-hmm.
need to learn, but I definitely, if you bump into me, Instagram is kind of where I hang out. There is an absolute channel or funnel to come like right into my either my practice or one of the groups that I facilitate or one of the courses that I teach. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so exactly that. I want you went right where I wanted you to go. So thank you, Holy Spirit. What are your services like? So somebody listening, how would they know that they need to book a consult with you? Like what would what would I need to be feeling or feel I need help in to connect with you?
Yeah. So I am, as you said, you're an advocate for entrepreneurship. I'm an advocate for counseling, for, well, I'll call it talk therapy.
Okay.
So it could be that you talk to, because there's several different practitioners that do talk therapy, a
Okay.
counselor, psychotherapist, a psychologist, a social worker, a
Mm,
psychiatrist. Most psychiatrists don't do talk therapy. They usually are the ones that
write a
figure out
prescription.
what exactly is the like they'll do like an assessment and figure out what mental health, um issue is at play, and will
Okay.
prescribe medication often, and will refer you out to do talk therapy. Not that they can't do it, but often, at least I know in Canada, the last time I was there, at least in Ontario, psychiatrists, they're like so few of them,
Mm-hmm.
and their calendars are so booked up, so they don't do
Yes.
that often. But anyhow, that is some of the individuals that you could seek out to do talk therapy. So for me, actually, I feel like I lost the question. What was the question again? You have to throw the question at me again, Shivani.
How would I know that you were who I need to connect with? What would I need to be feeling or thinking, or, what space would I be in to know that you would be able to support me?
Yeah. So I am an advocate for talk therapy. So I don't think that there needs to be a life-shattering event
Okay.
for individuals to seek out talk therapy or to prioritize or make room for talk therapy. I think
Mm-hmm.
that is one of the issues that we have right now when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to the mental health crisis, is that we
Yes.
wait until we're in a crisis to seek out, and then things are just compounded on each other, and then we're like can't even get our head above water. So
Right.
this idea of talk therapy, it's, every one of us has some challenge, some struggle within the season that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And the work that I do, it's creating a space for individuals that's safe, so they can work out some of these hard things,
Okay.
and they can understand, okay, how did I end up here where I am, that I'm actually not satisfied with in my
Right.
life?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the pathway to exit out of here and to get back to living my best life?
Mm.
um that's kind of, I think, what we all need. I do.
For
I don't
sure.
think that we should just focusing on people that have mental health, like you're in a mental health crisis, or you have some kind of mental illness. Obviously, if
Right.
you have been diagnosed with a mental illness, or you think that you may be having a mental illness, or you are like in a state of distress,
Mm-hmm.
then seek out help. But don't wait until those events happen to
No,
to seek out help. Just make it a part of your wellness plan. Yeah.
that's good. First of all, I've never heard of it as coined as talk therapy before. So thank you for teaching me that.
Yeah.
But it is so
Yeah.
true that, we have been conditioned that we only go to the doctor when we're sick. Like, so when we
That's right.
when our nose is running, then we go get a prescription.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
how about the
Yeah.
maintenance of our well-being? And there's so
That's
much
right.
that we are dealing with now, right? Let's refer to the last 2-3 years. Have you
Yeah.
found that people have been more willing to come and seek support, or is it still, kind of like drawing
Like
teeth?
a taboo.
Like, yeah.
So yeah, so since with the pandemic, oh my goodness, there was like maybe a week or two where things got really quiet, because
Mhm.
people were just kind of like, our world shut down,
What's
right?
going on? Yep.
And then there was like cancellation after cancellation after cancellation. I was just like, oh my God. It's like, this is my livelihood. But I consulted with a colleague of mine, and she was also feeling a little bit of that stress. But she's like, it's going to take folks a minute to realize this is actually just the way that life is going to be right now. And
Mm-hmm.
in a short time, people are going to start to kind of get back to booking themselves in. It's just that it's going to be virtual now.
Right.
And so said, so done. It was insane. When I tell you those couple of years during the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't enough like space in my calendar to see all the clients. And what
Wow.
I loved that it was black and brown faces. It
Okay, that's
was
beautiful.
uh, you know, women and men and couples and families who had never sat in a counseling room before.
Mm-hmm.
They recognize and were beginning to prioritize their mental health.
That's
They
beautiful.
recognize like I can't continue
Mm-hmm.
as I am. Like I'm in distress. Things are not
Mm-hmm.
well. Things are not okay. I am not okay, and I
It
need to
thinks
do something about that.
right.
Yeah, and they started to yeah, just kind of explore this whole area of mental health support. So now that things are getting back to the new normal,
Mm-hmm.
the calendar is not like that anymore. It's not like to the point of, oh my goodness, I would end my week like my head is spinning. Now my calendar is way more balanced,
Right.
and
Okay.
I'm able to, to be able to, I feel have a more of a calendar and a caseload that is much more manageable. But I still am seeing, so instead of people maybe coming as often as they once did during the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
there's just more gaps in between when
Okay.
they come. Instead of,
Okay.
okay, I need to come weekly or biweekly, now it's like every month or once a quarter, right?
Okay.
But the importance, because once you've had a great experience in
Right.
therapy,
Mm-hmm.
Siobhan, it's like I need to give
Maintain this.
my therapist a call. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I need to
You
have
never
a
want to go back to what it was before.
it's you don't want to go back, but you also recognize the benefits of having that kind of safe space.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
and you're very it's easy to say, okay, let me just make that call, let me book myself in, let me book my it's like a tune up, if you want to call it that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that, especially you said you recognize that our community is showing up more and identifying that this is something that is okay to implement in your lifestyle. Because yeah,
Yeah.
for far too long have we lived with this taboo that, there's an extreme. It's either 0 or 100 when it comes to
Yeah.
mental wellness. So that's beautiful. So being as though you are the receiver, right, of all of our, and I say our because I'm speaking on behalf of the listeners,
The
our
people.
the people, our struggles, our trials, our, things that we're trying to work out. How do you balance that? How do you take care of you in order to be able to
Yeah.
take care of the people?
Yeah. So I am um I don't know if I would call myself a self-care junkie, but I'm someone who prioritizes self-care. Like I've
Beautiful.
never felt bad or felt a need to apologize. My husband often will like like wag his finger at me. He's like, "You're getting away again. You're getting away again," because I will. I'll have out of town speaking engagements. And so,
Uh-huh.
yes, it is an appointment to go and work, but you best believe I'm going
Come
to
on
get
now.
my rental car. Don't worry about transportation. You don't need to pick me up and drop me off. I will take care of my own transportation because for me, I want to be able to find the nearest Target or the
All right.
nearest Walmart to me.
Come
I
on.
want to be able to explore where I feel like I want to explore. If I need
Yes.
to get my nails done, or if I want to, if I know there's something in that area that I've
Yes.
seen online, I want to check out. I want to be able to do that, and I just want to get away from the noise. I
I
want to
hear
get away
you.
from the noise. I did tell
I
you that
hear
my
you.
house is very loud, right?
Yes.
So again, like And so another thing that I started doing for this year, so a few years ago, I was working with an assistant, Princeton. Oh my gosh, she was so incredible. And his wife is a therapist. So I think that, like
Mm,
those guys are amazing, Princeton and Jess. So he said to me, Colleen, when we were working together, you need to schedule in your days off. Like, this is nonsense. It was
mm,
like every other Friday is your day off. Like, you're not doing this
okay.
thing, right? And so I did that for like 2 years, but this year I've taken all Fridays off, so I don't work on Fridays.
Come
So
on now.
Friday is my day. Don't look for me. Don't look for me. I'm getting my, and again, this is not everybody's definition of self-care.
For
Okay.
sure. For
Your
sure.
definition of self-care, you figure out what that is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever is going to refuel you and fill you up, you make time for that. For
Right.
Colleen, on a Friday, I am getting a waxing, getting my lashes, getting my nails, getting my hair. One of
Mm-hmm.
those things is getting done. I'm going to be buying something. I'm going to a mall. I'm going to a shop. I'm going to a pop-up. I'm doing something. Okay. I should probably preface this by saying Monday to Thursday, I am home. Okay. At this point, we have one vehicle. So it's the one vehicle. I'm literally in my yard from Monday to Thursday. So Friday is my day to like just turn
Brooklyn.
up. So that is, what self-care looks like for me. Every now and again, I'll leave later in the afternoon, and then one of my kids is home. And like, oh, could we come? No, you cannot come with me. Fine day. Every now and again, I will let a child come with me. But for the most part, Fridays is my day.
The love.
Yeah.
No, you cannot go.
No.
No, it's
Before
important.
they
It's
finish the
so
sentence.
important. It's so important that I love that you commit to taking your time for you because I mean, if you can't keep it together, how?
Yeah.
How?
That's right.
How?
That's
Right?
right.
So I love that. Mamas, if you're
Yeah.
listening, please be intentional with your time for you.
That's
Myself,
right.
in my own experience, I didn't realize that like I'm pretty chill, right? I don't need to do a whole bunch of stuff. I like what I like. I'll do it when I feel like it, and that's that. But when we were in the pandemic, I was like, whoa, let me pack up this boy's bags. I called his dad. I was like, here, see you
You gotta get out of
next
here.
week. Next
You
week,
gotta
not a
get out of here.
day. No, no, no. You gotta get out of here because I
It's
literally
not gonna
didn't
be good. It's not gonna be good if you
it's
stay.
not gonna be good. And it was really in that time that I realized like, wow, I needed to just have time to not do anything.
Yes, yes,
Right. And
yes.
so we've maintained that. It's not for a week at a time anymore, but it's, at least a day or 2 days where
Yeah,
I can do what I want to do or do what I need to do. But I have the choice
that's
and I don't have to be thinking about him
right.
because yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, wow. So, mamas, please be intentional with your time for you. All
yeah.
right.
Amen.
So, I
Mhm.
just wanted to know before we wrap up, as a mom, as a business owner, we need to talk about your ministry. You run ministries as well. Um, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It
And so I
is.
know that you
It
take
is.
care of you, but I know that other moms have aspirations to do maybe not everything that we do or everything that you do, but the fear of not being able to do it all will prevent
Mhm.
them from taking that step and starting their business or whatever it is that they wanted to do more than what they're currently doing. What word of
Yeah.
encouragement or advice can you offer to that mama who's listening?
So for the mama that recognizes, this is something that you said, Siobhan, like
Mm-hmm.
there's more. I
Mm-hmm.
know there's more. Number one, I'm going to say, do not ignore that. Don't
Mm.
ignore that. That voice inside. Don't ignore that gnawing. I feel like sometimes when we ignore our aspirations and our dreams, it's
Mm-hmm.
like it will haunt us. It
Yeah.
will haunt us. And then it'll come out in other ways,
In other ways.
we
Yep.
could become
Mm-hmm.
like we could become just angry and bitter. We could wrestle with jealousy and
Mm.
envy because we see other people doing things. We could become like just a hater or a super critic where we
Yes.
criticize all the things that other people are doing and how they didn't do that right, that should have been done like this. You know something? um, when you start to do what it is that you are called to do and you push yourself past your comfort zone, you
Mm-hmm.
begin to have a lot more understanding
For
and a
sure.
lot more empathy because
Yes.
you recognize, oh, okay, this is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
So number one, I would say don't ignore it. Don't feel pressured to do it all now. It could be, this might not be the season,
Mm-hmm.
but just like I talked about earlier about working in a homeless shelter, it was oh my goodness, that environment was really, I remember, and I don't want to sound like I don't want to be insulting to anyone, but I would walk into that facility and even the smell was like, oh goodness, this can't be
Mm.
where this is not my final resting place here.
I
I
hear
just
you. Yeah.
knew this is a place God has me now. And I saw it as an opportunity, but I
Yes.
knew every day was just a reminder, like this is not it, man. This is not it. And in that time, right? In those slow times, I remember working like in the basement,
Mm-hmm.
um, late, like overnights. And I was just had my notepad, I had my, my paperwork, working in this season that might not be the activation season.
Come
What
on.
is the work that you can be doing now? What is the work you can be
Yes.
doing now? And the last thing I would say is this: get a coach, get help.
Yes.
Don't fool yourself into thinking that you are
Mm.
going to be able to know all the answers or figure out all the things. Now listen, I am totally for like, the University of Google. Like, go as
Come
far as you
on.
can, research,
Yep.
get all the information that's free as you can, but still there's going to be an element of execution and an
Yep.
element of like figuring out like you know what I mean? Like the
Yep.
nitty-gritty stuff that you need guidance in.
You need guidance and
So,
accountability, I think too.
and accountability. That's the other
Yeah.
thing, and accountability. So invest in a coach. You might need to do some research, and you might need to save a little bit and put it aside so that you can afford to take
Mm-hmm.
on some coaching that you know you need. But do
Yep.
it. You're worth the investment. You're worth the investment, and so
Yes.
is your dream. Yeah, and your purpose. Yeah. So that's what I would say.
Those are good. Those are good. Ladies, if you're listening, like those three will definitely catapult you to another level. So if that's what's in your heart,
Yeah.
go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. You will be thankful. Your children will be thankful. Your legacy will be thankful. Just do it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Colleen.
Yeah.
That's great.
Beautiful. Thank you, Siobhan. This is great.
Yeah. So what is up and coming next for Miss Colleen Blake-Miller? So you do a lot.
Oh goodness.
You do a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, social media or Instagram, I should say, that's like the main place that I house a lot of what I'm doing. Like the link in bio is where
Mm-hmm.
I always have updated whatever I've got up and coming. So, right now, the second quarter of my wellness village, that's a wellness community that I facilitate.
Oh,
We're
lovely.
launching. Yeah. So we kick it off on Sunday. It's a wonderful, faith-filled community of women
Mm-hmm.
who understand and recognize that their wellness needs to be a priority. And so we
Yes.
have weekly workshops that we focus on, and I
Mm-hmm.
provide, as well as the coaches that are in the part of the community. As well, there are challenges.
Nice.
There's, oh my goodness, there's just so much stuff. We've got devotionals and weekly
Mm-hmm.
sheets, and there's a community aspect where we connect daily, as well as we've got like weekly check-ins and all that good stuff. So for
Nice.
somebody, well, the biggest thing within the wellness community is the wellness village, excuse me, is community.
Yes.
There's a saying, right, that we've heard, an old African proverb, it takes a village to raise a
Takes
child.
a
But
village.
I say to that we never outgrow the need for our village. And we
Absolutely.
still need others in our life to help to push us along so that we are not just aimlessly wandering, feeling isolated and alone.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's a really simple, easy way to get into working with me and connected and that kind of thing. So folks can definitely check that out. I also have a podcast called Your Amazing Life Podcast
Yes.
that Siobhan recently was a guest on that. So you can listen out for that interview. And yeah, just see me via my content that I share on Instagram and all that great stuff. All that those avenues.
Amazing. 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 Yes, ladies, if you're listening, please, please, please connect with. You can find her at Colleen Blake-Miller. I'll be sure to put all of her contacts in the show notes so you can reach out. But I love the concept of the wellness community, the wellness village. Like that
Yeah.
is because something I've learned in my own evolution. One, mentorship is key, but also community. And so for me, that's Embrace Women Services. Recently having a conversation with my mentor, my leader, and like without Embrace, girl, I don't know where Siobhan would be right now. So
Wow.
if you are looking
Wow.
for a community, please, please, please reach out to Colleen starting this Sunday, which means I probably have to. Oh, okay. I got to figure this out. But connect with Colleen because yeah, you'll definitely be able to be among some women who are thriving intentionally
Yeah,
God's way. So thank
that's
you.
it.
So
Love
that's it.
it. Thanks.
Wraps up our episode. Please, folks, be sure to subscribe to the Mama Means podcast on all audio platforms. We will launch a new episode every other week. And so that wraps up. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.